Hey, Bob, do you know what I'm missing?
What are you missing there, Tanner Poppitt?
I'm missing heavy metal 24 hours a day. Do you know where I can find something like that?
Dude, go to Heavy Metal Television, man. That's the best.
Heavy metal television? What is that?
Yes, Heavy Metal Television. It's a 24/7 heavy metal website, all metal all the time.
Okay, let me go on there. Oh, look at that.
Look at you. It
Heavy
pops
Metal
up that
Television.
quick. You go up there and boom, there you have it.
Wow, mind blown. What
That's
is
right.
the site called?
It's heavymetaltelevision.com
Well, there
or heavymetaltv.net.
HeavyMetalTV.net. Ooh.
Yeah, look at two different platforms, and instantaneously you get this metal right up on your big screen. If you got that Roku, which I'm sure you got the Roku or the Amazon Fire Stick, dude, you just put it on your big screen TV and just rock out all night long.
Absolutely. Well, Bob, thanks for educating me on HeavyMetalTelevision.com.
Check it out, people.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 12 of Poppitt's Corner. I'm joined by my good friend, Mr. Habib. Is it Behain?
Behain.
Behain. See, fucked it up already. But thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate it. Thanks very much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely,
I really feel honored being with you. Like I said before we went on the air, you've done a lot for the scene, and you're just like me, where we've been around for a long time, and you've gone to do opportunities like tour and all that, and the fact that you're giving a platform for bands to tell their story is just as great.
So you've seen the show before, so I don't have to explain kind of how
I
it
saw
is.
that you had Neil Carter from 1013, who and I was really happy for him because
Get back in, get into the microphone.
I saw you had him, and I watched the entire thing, and because Neil actually found I know Neil, and actually he found me through one of my other bands, Lycanfrost, and we started talking, and then he even came out to actually the last time Lycanfrost played, and he also came out to my birthday show for xDead Habibx, and also, irony enough, he came to my birthday this year. I had a birthday party, and he actually was there. So, and when he had he had a handful of demos, and I actually decided, which had Misanthropy Durilium and songs like that. I actually went out of my way and said, give me a stack of them, and I started passing them out for him, and he was like it's
a great demo, dude.
Yeah, it's a wonderful demo, and and tell the truth, what I like about it is, like, even though you don't hear the vocals much, but it feels like
there's no vocals in it, though.
Yeah. Actually, there are. If
there's
you really,
screams,
yeah,
but
there's no
not
screams,
lyrics or anything.
Yeah, there's no lyrics there. It's all screams. It reminds me of, to tell the truth, it reminds me a bit of like Zaster. That demo reminded me of like those later Zaster, where the vocals feel like the vocals sounded like a person was buried alive.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
but,
and of course, the stuff he's writing now is amazing. I try to plug his band as much as I can, and one of the one things I will say, he did write to me once and said, I think it's really cool that you're going out of your way to like help me, and I've never seen anybody do that, and it's just because starting out, nobody was helping me, and I'm trying to make my whole thing is that if you're friends with me and you're in a band, I try to do what I can to help out. I always try to rep bands merch. I always try to buy band CDs, shirts, buttons, whatever, just to whether it's in the metal scene or hell, even the horror punk scene, even the psychobilly scene. I'm friends with everybody, and I try to help out. And a lot of people are aware of me because I'm at a lot of different types of shows, and I go to shows very often because I'm a very I love this. I love music just in general.
Well, you make your presence known in different avenues and stuff. But no, I appreciate the sentiment at the beginning of the show, and I'm honored to have you here. And I want you to tell your story, which is the whole point to the podcast. So, take me back to the beginning. Start from when, kind of, what was your first instrument that you played? How did you pick up a guitar? Why did you just start from the beginning for me real quick?
So the way everything started was originally I wanted to be a singer, strictly a singer. I would have CDs all the time, and I bet I annoyed my family a lot. Even though the door would close, I would sing those records all the time. And I would sit in my room with my headphones, and I would just listen to CDs, and I would just sing them all the time. And eventually I started learning how to play guitar. That was my first instrument. And I was like 13, 14 when I picked up the guitar, and started learning songs here and there. I actually learned like Behind Blue Eyes as one of my first songs, or just like a simple progression of it. But then I just started writing my own songs right off the bat. So even back then, even when I didn't know how to play, I was teaching myself and how to write songs on my own. So I started trying to write my own stuff at the age of 13, 14, which weren't great, but the essence of it was there, where I started writing music, even though I couldn't play. And then, as a singer kind of grew, I started jamming with a bunch of people, and it was a great feeling to kind of someone to hand me the microphone and let me just say what I wanted to say.
Now, what year was this?
This is 2000. This is around 2004, 2005.
So you were what, 13?
I was around 14.
Okay.
14, 15 when all this was going on. I was pretty much a freshman in Los Alamitos High School, and a couple of guys they jammed, and so they invited me to come jam with them as a vocalist, because they knew I was a vocalist. And and that's the essence. That's where a lot of lyrically of what I'm known for and just the voice I had was starting, like I have kind of came from, because and then eventually, like, some of those guys were not that great to me. They were more into classic rock, but they try to play heavy stuff just for me. And even though, like, I found out the reason they invited me was just they thought it was comedic, I decided, screw this. I'm gonna focus on trying to learn how to write my own songs and learn how to play the guitar and start writing my own stuff and writing songs that I want to hear. And and at the time there wasn't really any metal bands. And throughout high school, I tried to form a metal band. From 2004 to 2008, I tried to form a metal band, and it wasn't happening.
What high school did you
Los
go to?
Alamitos High School.
Okay.
It was, a lot of the bands were either pop punk bands, classic rock bands, and Sublime tribute bands. Or
there's one you're missing too. It's called deathcore bands.
Yeah. Well, deathcore really. Yeah. Well, this is 2000.
That was the peak of metalcore bands, dude.
Yeah, it was the peak when it was still screamo, and then it was also, there was a screamo band that actually from our high school did play Warped Tour, and I'm still friends with two of the guys from that band till this day. So it's and also my sophomore year of high school, which was between 2005 2006. I had my first I had my first real Dead Habibx song right after that. I wrote it, and that's where Dead Habibx finally started. Like, January of 2006 is where Dead Habibx actually started. So Dead Habibx original essence of when it started was, I was a sophomore in high school. It was acoustic stuff, punk stuff, and metal stuff. And then...
Now, were you doing this all without a drum machine? Because I know you use one now, but you were doing it just you, a guitar, and an amp? Because I've never seen this before. Because the first time I saw you live it was just you and a guitar, a mask, a microphone, no backing tracks, no nothing.
That was it. That was me.
I think to this day you have the biggest balls I think I've ever seen for a musician.
Yeah.
Nobody would do that.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Is there a reason why? I'm still blown away to this day. Like, you're the only dude that I would ever know to do that, dude.
All right, so
you might as well be doing gigs at like, a coffee shop or something.
Yeah, actually, well, I'll tell you how that whole thing started. It's all right, so I graduated high school in 2008. I started my first year of college. And by the close to the end of my first year of college, my first semester of college, I reunited with one of my friends. I reunited with this one guy who I tried to start a band with in high school, and it just never worked out. And he was one of those guys who's very obsessed with Slayer. And he wanted to play guitar, but he wanted all the music to be influenced by Slayer, even lyrically. He's also a very intelligent guy, very smart guy. Pretty much put it this way: he studied
Slayer. Is that what you're telling me?
No, he studied Slayer, but he also studied to be a lawyer.
So he didn't put Slayer in his arm or something like that. And carve it into his skin.
He would have. I personally, I could see him being that guy because there's two things. There was
lighting it on fire just to.
Yeah, the only thing he loved more than Slayer was girls, and then of course Call of Duty. Like there's times I was trying to take him away from Call of Duty because I really want us to do something. And
now, did you click musically? Where did you click at to where you were persistent enough to go after this musician or whatever? Was it?
It was just that he was the only metal kid at my high school, and that was it. We both bonded because we both like Marilyn Manson, Slipknot, even though he likes the first two albums and he hates the rest of the albums. I loved everything. I loved the entire catalog. He liked Meshuggah. I wasn't really into the technical stuff, and for me, I was like my influences were bands like Slipknot, Cannibal Corpse, Danzig. Those are my three bands in high school. Eventually, Bleeding Through was a part of that list. Wednesday 13 was a part of that list. And this was like the early days. Hell, even Kitty was a part of my list, and
wow,
yeah, those were my heavy influences. And I know that sounds kind of strange, but.
Well, when you're a kid in high school and you're 13, 14, 15 years old.
And also, here's the thing, like, Kitty also, I always liked I always knew of him, and I ended up liking him. And actually, one of the few times I've ever recorded a cover was an acoustic version of the song Into the Darkness by Kitty, which I still have that demo, by the way. And if you want to hear some high vocals, I'll show you that.
Look to you to fill that void for people? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, to tell the truth. But that was the song that helped me learn how to feel comfortable singing and playing guitar at the same time. I credit that song and I credit that band a lot for that.
So Kitty is the main influence. What you're telling me in essence is that band is the main influence as to why there's no backing tracks. There's no in the beginning other players.
But here's the real reason. The real reason I started doing the stuff I do now was here's the twist. So after hanging out with this guy for a while, and I actually hung out with him outside, it just wasn't clicking. And when we would hang out, he always kind of made fun of me. And I was... A little insight about myself is that I got made fun of a lot in high school. I've had a lot of people in high school. For 2 years in a row, rumors were spread around me that I was going to shoot up the school. And
that's a scary thought, dude.
Yeah. And after living through that...
I mean, it has nothing to do with your name or anything like that either.
No, so. It was just for shits and giggles for whoever did it. And the other person that... And here's the sad thing. One of the ones who did it was actually a teacher.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, because she was terrified that I was going to... And the thing was, she actually allowed the class to make fun of me on times. And this is a video production class. So eventually it was just... Yeah, and they made fun of me in class a lot. And the teacher actually took part in some of it.
It's fucked up, dude.
Yeah. And after going through that and then not knowing who my friends were, I kind of went through this insecurity phase, and the only person, and at the time, the only real friend I had was this one girl. and she kind of helped me through that. And I met her during my senior year of high school, but then at the same time, I was still associated with this specific guy, and he just was never. He was, like I said, his other love besides Slayer was girls. He was
Call
always
of Duty.
he was always making fun of me because I was not in a relationship, and eventually I got tired of that. So, the first like real, like, I guess you could say, like, death metal songs, which still had like a punk edge to it, that I ever wrote, was called Massacre of the Lovers.
Okay.
And pretty much it was just me just kind of venting on how I felt about him. And of course, him and his buddies didn't like it. And they basically, they hated my guts. And they pretty much...
Now, why do you think that was? Because it seems kind of like a jealousy thing, because... I mean, when you're in high school too, you're really dumb.
Well, this is in college.
Okay, even still, then,
Yeah.
like when you reach a certain, like, your mid-20s is when you start to figure it out.
Yeah.
But before that, it's kind of you kind of have
the-
stupid reasons to hate on people back
Well,
then.
I don't know why, because he had a girlfriend.
Okay.
The fact is, he had his own group of friends, which I felt like they all followed the gospel of what he would say, and on top of that, he was like, I felt like he was, I'll just say this, he's kind of like a cult. I've always felt like if he ever had a cult, I could see him having a cult. That's the equivalent of how I feel about this guy. It's funny though, he's one of those guys that if you piss him off, he's gonna hate you forever.
He holds grudges?
He holds grudges. He's a guy that holds grudges.
We don't need him then.
Yeah, we don't need him. And the essence of how Dead Habibx started was me kind of showing him, well, even when we were talking about the band, we never even had one song. And the thing was, they were already trying to mold me to talk about his ideology, his ideas of what I should be talking about. They didn't want me to talk about the stuff I wanted to talk about.
Who's they? Because you mentioned there's only one.
Well, it was that Pacific guy.
And his group of friends?
And his group of friends.
Okay.
I'm going to just call him the Antichrist.
That's cool.
That's how I refer to, that's what I always looked at him as.
Well, he doesn't exist anyway,
Yeah.
so it's not that big a deal.
Yeah, so I always refer to him as the Antichrist. And he was pretty much the... he really sucked, and he really sucked.
You can be completely honest on the show.
Yeah,
this is your platform.
He really sucked, but also, like, he's the essence of how Dead Habibx started.
That's awesome. That he's the fuel to your fucking your machine, dude.
One thing you'll learn is that Dead Habibx started through spite, and also it was fueled by. There's always an adversary in Dead Habib. There's always some form of adversary, because I'm always trying to prove somebody wrong, or if someone's wronged me in such a way, that just fuels me, and that fuels me because. The music has always been fueled by that, because of the fact that it's just, that's the way I deal with things. I don't have any other way of dealing with it.
But music's a healthy platform.
And, so I would put everything into songs. I would put everything. And this, when I first started doing, and because of that, that's when I released the first Dead Habibx demo was called Scars of Suicide. And then I released another demo that was an EP called Fuck Love, and then also an acoustic EP called Rossmore Crows Unplugged. Those three demos were like kind of like just like to test the waters and just to help me get me somewhere. And then that same year, my first year of college, May of 2009, I played my very first Dead Habibx show, and I pretty much, that's where it all started. And Dead Habibx, May of 2009, the very first Dead Habibx show happened at D Piazzas. And ever since then, I've had a great relationship with Mark from D Piazzas. He's always been good to me since then, even till today. I love that place.
Great
very
pizza.
Much. It has a great pizza, great food. I love that place. It holds a near and dear to my heart, even till today.
Well, we just saw each other there last
night for the Ritual show. Yeah.
That was great seeing you. Like I said,
great.
Before the interview or whatever. I apologize if I was doing my thing. And
we're both in the same boat. We've been around forever. We know a lot of people. That's what it is.
I appreciate the understanding, but I just wanted to at least throw it out there. It's like it's nothing personal.
No,
you know?
we were all.
But it was great to see you for this couple seconds.
Yeah, and
I only got to see you. I think I only got to see you that one time. You know, when you walked in, and
actually twice.
Okay, maybe like as we were like
passing by. We kept passing by like.
But I'm saying you know.
Yeah, but we know like we'll say hi just through like mind control.
Yes, just don't ever take it personally. I don't ever take it personally when anybody else does it too. You know,
and that's where the essence of how May of 2009, those first 3 demos is where everything started, and now
that was right around the time that I first saw you.
No, this is actually This is. I'll get to the point of how you first met me. This is actually
because my mind's hazy as to all this stuff.
Don't worry. I'll fix.
You'll fill in the gap.
I'll fill in the gaps for you.
Okay.
All right.
So 2009. So take me back to
2009. By the time of August of 2009, I already had 3 shows under my belt, and I was having my 4th show under my belt that same month.
Where was your first show?
My first show, like I said, it was the very first show was May of 2009 at D Piazzas.
Okay.
And then my 3rd show was at a coffee shop called Pete's Coffee. It was walking distance to my house. I did an acoustic show where I got to play. It was I got to do like a combination of metal, some psychobilly, some punk rock.
At a fucking coffee shop?
Yes. On an acoustic guitar, by the way.
Did you have black coffee handy for you?
I looked like Johnny Cash in the picture. I have pictures from that night.
Did you do this? Is that what you...
No.
Oh, no?
No. I actually had I had these really skinny suspenders, and they fucking broke before. But here's the other thing. And then my 3rd show was at... Which I love this show. It was very memorable for me. It was at Hoagie Bar Michael's because a little history... The very first all ages show I went at, which I was like 12 years old, by the way, was at Hoagie Bar Michael's.
That's a place that I wish more people talked about.
Yeah,
a lot of bands got their start at Hoagie Bar Michael's.
Yeah, I actually my very first all ages show I ever went to was Hoagie Bar Michael's, and I was 12 years old. And actually, if you want to know something really funny about that show, my sister took me. My sister took me to a lot of my earliest shows I've ever went to.
That's great. How old is your sister?
My sister was already in her 20s at the time, and I was 12 when she took me to my first all ages show. She's the one who introduced me to all that. My older sister Star, she introduced me to. She was constantly going out of her way to take me out to places, just hang out with me. She introduced me to a lot of the first handful of bands I got into. My sister actually introduced me to.
That's amazing, dude.
Yeah, and even though there were bands like Papa Roach and like Blink-182, and they're not metal related whatsoever, but she introduced me to music in general.
Can I give you a secret? I like all those bands too.
Yeah. Well, she also introduced me to Linkin Park, which that's where the essence.
I like that band too.
Yeah, actually, Linkin Park was the essence.
What was the album? Hybrid Theory?
Yes.
Yeah, that was mine too.
Yes, actually, Linkin Park was the essence of where I wanted to become a singer because I wanted to be Chester Bennington in the early days. I wanted to be Chester Bennington. I also wanted to be Fred Durst, and I also wanted to be Jacoby Shaddix. I wanted to be those 3 guys. Those are the 3 guys I idolized and made me want to be a front man. So Hoagie Bar Michael's 2009, it was July when I played that show. It was my 3rd show. And then I booked of course, for anybody who knows, you sell tickets for that, and I had to sell.
Well, we should back up a bit because it's not as prevalent as when it once was. Literally every show you would play, you had to sell tickets. That was like you were kind of all the bands were pigeonholed unless you were a bigger band.
Yeah,
right?
And actually the thing about that was also before that show. Before that show happened. Here's the funny thing. I think it was like a few weeks before. this is it was like a few weeks before, it was like a month or so before I met you for the first time at Chain Reaction when you opened for Warbringer, and you were and I was running merch for Ironclad, and
wow,
because I saw Ironclad open for Goat Whore in April of 2009, and that was my first time ever going to a show by myself, and I went strictly because of Sammy Duet, and I became friends with the two bands that actually
Sammy Duet. Wow.
Yeah. And I got to, and by the way, Sammy Duet gave me his pick and made sure I didn't drop it. And then I got to talk to him, and he gave me the best advice before my first show. He says, take your time in what you're doing. Don't rush anything, and just keep working at it. And that's why if you've seen how long Dead Habib has been around, and you've seen the stages and you've seen how it's progressed, it was me pretty much following what he did, which he told me, take your time.
Well, just the fact that you're still here is quite amazing.
Yeah.
You should be proud to still be here.
And to tell the truth, I brought that story up to him, and he was very, very, humbled by that. And that was years later.
Well,
but,
dude, when somebody gives you a piece of advice and you actually utilize it, most people give advice, nobody utilizes that piece of advice.
Yeah.
Like my buddy, I'm just going to give you one example of this. My buddy from Bonded by Blood, Carlos, the drummer, gave me the greatest piece of advice I think I've still have stuck with till this day. And that was never expect. So you should never expect anything.
Yeah.
But when something when something happens to you, you're grateful for it.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't expect to get paid, or shouldn't be expect to, for the shows or whatever.
And tell the truth,
you shouldn't be expect to get food every show, every tour that you do.
The thing is, for me, it's all about low expectations. That's how I've ran
same
everything.
Thing, but
low expectations.
But that was the first time a fellow musician that I looked up to told me a piece of advice where I was like, you know what? That's great. That's a great piece of advice. And when I told him, I still use it to this day. And Carlos, you're the fucking man. Thank you for giving me that piece of advice. But, I still utilize that. And when I tell him that, he's a big part of the reason why I still do what I do, and the thinking that I have, just like Sammy did for you.
Yeah, and and
you utilized it.
Yeah,
that's the difference.
And the thing was, and also, and then fast forward of when we first met, that's when I gave you the comment that you're a little guy that's super powerful, and you remind me so much of Danzig just because of you're a tiny guy, but you have all this power behind you, and then after that,
I still appreciate hearing that. That means a lot, dude.
Yeah, and I think you told me once that, dude, that's the first time I've heard that, but I also don't like Danzig. I think I heard that one. I think you were kind of like...
Well, dude, that was 10 years ago. Yeah. I do like Danzig. Yeah. I think he's...
Yeah. I thought
it's fucking Glenn Danzig.
Yeah, dude.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. Do you know what I mean? He's got good stuff. He's got bad stuff.
Yeah.
Just like every other musician.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. I know everybody judges him based off of album 5.
How about everybody judges him off that 15-second video of him getting knocked out by the big dude? Of course that.
Well, here's the thing. People forget that first off, the shot really was a clear punch. And second of all, he landed on his knee. He didn't go he didn't do a Ric Flair where he just falls face first.
Woo!
Yeah. When he punched him, he actually was on one knee. And what people don't show, what the guy who punched him said was that after I did that, I ran because I knew that if I stayed there, he would have kicked my ass.
Of course, dude.
And he also said, dude, I have to give that guy credit because he took that punch and he only went on one knee. People seem to forget that for some reason. Everyone likes to bring it up to make fun of him. But it's like, seriously, that guy is a tough motherfucker. And
here's the thing. He's Glenn Danzig, dude.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Glenn Danzig is a big influence on me. He was the biggest reason why I do things on my own, and I do things on my own terms.
Do you like Danzig, or do you like Misfits more? Because I like Danzig more than Misfits. I was never a big Misfits guy.
Well, I got into Danzig, not not Danzig and the Misfits. I got into Danzig
solo, right?
Solo. That's what I was introduced to first.
Now, how's the Samhain stuff for
Samhain? For me, I have the Live 85, 86.
Is that where I should start for like any? Because I've never really heard that era of.
It's a live show that they did where it was one of the Blood shows that they recorded at a ballroom.
Okay.
And the thing though that most people don't realize is that when they put like they have two shows of it, and what most people don't know is that not only are they covered in blood, but the instruments are covered in blood. It looks like a crime scene, but also when they're playing their instruments, it's like they're playing underwater. But it looks cool, but it's also you feel the aggression in it. And especially my favorite Samhain song is always going to be All Murder, All Cuts, All Fun. That's my favorite Samhain song. But I love the Samhain stuff. When it comes to the Misfits stuff, I love the Misfits stuff too, but not as much as the Danzig stuff, because Danzig 4 has a special place in my heart. It was the first real Danzig album I ever bought, and my favorite. It's
supposedly one of the best Danzig albums ever.
Personally, I feel like I think it's one of the best songs ever, best albums ever. It has there's a lot of classic songs on that album that don't get talked about. Mainly there's two. There's Stalker Song, which I really love, because it's just, you feel that song very, very, you just feel it. But the real song it's very beautiful and just really well done is called Let It Be Captured. And it has a really beautiful piano piece, and it's a very emotional song, and you could just feel it. And it's just, and I'll tell you the truth, like when I hear that song, it gives me a chill up my spine, but it's a song I relate to a lot, because with music for me, it's all about feeling, and I've always been drawn to bands by lyrics. And that's where a lot of bands win me over, is based on lyrics. And
now, does it take you to a special place, like when you first heard it? Because music sometimes does that for people. Yeah, but does this particular track take you to when you first heard it?
It takes me to two places. It takes me to a special place of feeling like I'm not alone, but also it comes around when when a certain period of time is happening in my life. Like a lot of the bands I got into were coming from periods of moments of when I was going through things. Certain bands were just, I found bands to just latch onto. That's kind of the reason I like so many bands from so many different places, is because they came around when I was probably going through something personally or emotionally, and those bands were just the bands that filled that void or filled that need. So when it comes to and so fast forward, after I met you at that, I did my third show, which was at Hoagie Bar Michael's, and I had family and friends at that show, and it was the first time. Like here's a cool thing though. My first two real show, like my first show and this show at Hoagie Bar Michael's, my mom and my sister came out to it.
That's amazing.
And it was the first time they were actually seeing me do my thing. And this is when I had, and before Dead Habib became Dead Habib, it used to be me rocking a band shirt, wearing a mask, and just doing vocals and guitar.
Well, I want to get to the massing in a second here. Yeah. Well, I'll get to that, but yeah.
And that night I played with a bunch of metal bands, and I got a lot of props from a lot of bands telling me, dude, it takes a lot of balls for you to do what you're doing right now. And also I also got a lot of props because of my vocals, because they were so fucking low. But also they were very blown away by the fact that I could sing as well, because I used to also bring my acoustic guitar on stage with me as well. So I did like a combination of both. And it was kind of, it was like, and that was a special moment. And so I always remember those first few shows, and then, it's something I always remembered. And then I had one more show, and then this is when the story this is where the Dead Habib story gets a little bit more interesting, because then this is when there are certain eras of me. This is when, after my 4th show, which it was back at D Piazza's, this is where this is where Dead Habib and then the other band. Then I had another band starting at the same time, and then there was that era.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you had a couple bands going on.
Yeah, I had Dead Habib and then one other band.
Okay, but before we get to this though, like I want to talk really quick about the mask, because there's a couple of questions that I've always wanted to ask you. And
Go right ahead.
There's 2 points. One, explain the concept of it, and 2, is part of the reason why you wear the mask because you're trying to hide something, or is it because I always felt like this guy has is in a lot of pain, so he's trying to hide who he really is, and he just wants to portray himself differently, kind of like a superhero kind of thing.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
All right. So the first question was
like your alter ego, kind of like what I do with the no shirt, pants, guitar thing.
The first question was, where did it come from?
The concept of it.
The concept of it. Well, the concept was I was always into the theatrical bands.
Okay.
I was always interested in theatrics.
The Alice Coopers, the Slipknots, the Marilyn Mansons, all that stuff.
Here's pretty much the main 3 for me.
Okay.
Well, actually, the main 4: Slipknot, Mushroomhead, Murder Dolls, Mayhem.
Okay, so for those 4. So
those are the things that really got me, and
with the makeup and
the makeup, and also you could throw Marilyn Manson in there, and you could also throw Wednesday 13 in there. But I don't know with Wednesday 13 because he's also part of the Murder Dolls. So,
I was just saying because all of it came from Alice Cooper, the alter ego kind of thing. So
and then as for the second question, was it because I was trying to hide something? It was.
Was there a deeper meaning as to why you did it? The deeper meaning
behind it is, when I put on the mask, it reflects. I'm a guy who has a lot of, like what I talked about, of, I guess,
pain. I would say pain
of pain and things I went through in high school. I was the guy that got bullied in high school.
Me too.
I was the guy who got made fun of for being Middle Eastern at times. One of the guys in my wrestling class actually posted a picture of a camel. Says, "This is Habib's new automobile."
Okay, that's fucked up, dude.
Yeah.
I'm laughing a little bit because
it's funny too. I find it funny as well.
But I mean, I would never do that to somebody.
I got called Borat in high school. So I have an extreme hatred for Sacha Baron Cohen. So
you don't think that his agenda was to showcase that Americans are really as ignorant as
he proved that.
I think he did. I think that's what I took away from that whole thing, dude.
But he also gave everybody a new punchline for me. That's why.
Is it better than a poo?
A poo? Oh, I got called a poo.
I'm sure. I mean, there's a documentary obviously with it, but I'm just saying, is that better? Like now you got something new because before you only had that.
Well, here's the thing. Nobody ever referenced the poo to me ever. Really, that's the funny thing. You think that people would reference a poo, but nobody ever really referenced a poo to me. That was the funny thing. And then of course, I used to have that facial hair where it's like one giant sideburn where it's that unit, that thing. People called me Abe Lincoln.
That's because you wear it well, dude.
I wear it well. That's because I could grow fucking facial hair. That's why.
They're jealous. I think that's a jealousy thing, dude.
That's because I could grow fucking facial hair.
You should have fucking wore a top hat.
Yeah, I should have wore a top hat. Yeah, I should.
You should have.
Yeah, but but really, what really formed in me wearing the mask really came from the whole people spreading rumors about me wanting to shoot up the school, of telling people I was going to shoot up the school. That's where a lot.
Okay, that's fucking interesting. So go further because I'm not kind of putting. I need to put two and two together here.
Yeah.
So what about the mask did you? What is the reason why you wanted to prove with the mask why you didn't want to shoot up a school? Obviously, you didn't want to.
No,
there's no reason why anybody should.
I felt like when people see me, they could see the pain in my face. They could see it in my eyes. And I feel like I have no voice, and I felt very voiceless. I just felt like people around me kind of were ditching me at the time. I felt like I had nobody. A lot of my friends, I say that, you know, they were more interested in partying and hanging out with all the people that made fun of me. Most of my friends were girls, by the way. I was friends with
lucky,
a lot of,
dude.
I was friends. Huh?
Most of my friends were dudes, man. I didn't have that luxury.
Actually, yeah, it's funny. I was friends with girls, and everyone tells me this. Like,
what's your secret, dude?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why, but girls seem to like me, even though like all the guys fucking tease me all the time. But no, like I remember one of my friends is like, dude, you always are with all these hot chicks and you don't date none of them. I'm like, even till today, I still get that. Even now, I'm 28 years old. I still hang out with girls, and you know, and people still ask me like, dude, are you dating any of them? I'm like, no. It's like, dude, I'm just friends with them. You could be friends with girls, you know that. You know, it's like everybody assumes the other thing. But no, it just you know, like, and actually it was just because of that, and just they had, you know, unfortunately Orange County is there is a heavy emphasis of who your friends are, what you have, what you don't have, who your friend, you know, just it's all the like superficial things, and it's kind of funny that
you're speaking truth right now, and it's so.
Well, here's the thing. I didn't say it first. Brandon Chapetti of Bleeding Through said it first.
No, but you're speaking truth, and it hits home for me, and I appreciate hearing this right now.
Yeah,
and I appreciate you telling everybody who's listening and watching, you know, like this whole conversation right now, because it needs to be talked about, dude.
And the thing was, that's where a lot, and that added to me wanting to wear the mask, because I felt like, you know, I became voiceless, and I was going through all this pain, and even though I had even though I had the metal music keeping me together, even though I had being straight edge keeping me together, and at the time I had that one girl that made me feel good about myself, and made me felt good about myself because she always told me your flaws are what make you special.
Use that though. That's a gift.
Yeah. So, and you know, and that's the thing. But at the same time, I was angry. So I decided to reflect that anger by wearing the mask. When I wear the mask, I get to reflect, or I get to show all the anger, all the frustration, all the things I really want to say. I let it out. And the mask helps me let it out. I feel like I become a completely different person. I feel like I become, there's this inner like beast within me that wants to just say, fuck you. You fucking terrorized me for this long. You fucking try to control me for this long. And now I'm finally going to say what I've been wanting to say for the last, whatever's been bothering me for the last like 2, 3, 4, 5, even a decade, you know? It's like, because I didn't have the chance to say it then, but I can fucking say it now. And wearing the mask helped me do that. And I feel like I become a different beast, whether it's wearing a mask, wearing corpse paint. That's where it's just, it's a symbolism of me kind of shedding, I guess the humanity of me. And then when I go on stage, I show the beast.
I think you're a superhero, dude.
Yeah.
No, I'm being completely honest with you right now. I think you're a fucking superhero. The fact that you're still here after going through all this trauma is absolutely inspirational for me. Yeah. I have not experienced half of what you've experienced.
Yeah.
And I'm almost your age. I'm 27.
Yeah.
I'll be 28 next year. You know, I did get made fun of in high school.
Yeah.
It wasn't to the extent of what you did, but the fact that you're still here, like, I want to shake your hand and just say thank you for, you know, for fucking being here and teaching me and everyone in that's listening to this, you know, that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. You are an inspiration to a lot of more people than what you think you are.
Yeah. And even though like those moments, like some of those demos, like Scars of Suicide and Fuck Love and you know, even the Rossmore Crows Unplugged EP, there was also another demo I did called Butchered and Suicidal But Alive. And that's that demo also showed people, that was my first taste of writing death metal as well. This is when I was listening to bands like Cannibal Corpse a lot more. I was listening to Death.
What era? If you don't mind me
Leprosy.
asking. Oh, okay, good.
I love Leprosy. I have friends who love Crystal Mountain and all the other ones, but personally, I think Leprosy is. I can't get into the other ones. I like Leprosy.
Really? Okay, so yeah, I'm not even gonna tell my story. I'm focusing on you right now
because
that was the first death metal album I ever heard.
Well, the real reason,
and it changed my life.
Yeah. Well, the first death metal record I heard was Cannibal Corpse's Kill.
Oh my god, I saw that tour.
Yeah, and the thing
it's a great album, dude.
That was
Super
my first
obscure.
real introduction to death metal, and I fell in love with death metal based off of that album. And also, that was where my love for Cannibal came from. And I have to. And here's a funny side note. My mom got me my first Cannibal Corpse long sleeve T-shirt, and she was completely cool with it.
What was it?
The Butchered at Birth one.
Oh my! Your mom got you that? You didn't even know that it was two zombies cutting. With
no, my mom thought it was awesome. She loved it.
Awesome.
My mom is
rad.
Awesome.
Rad,
most likely my mom's gonna end up seeing this, so I'm sorry for cursing, but
hi, Mom.
Hi. Here's a shout out to you.
Yeah,
but no, it's just no, like she's my mom's super cool. She's been there for me. She was there for me during all that hardship, even now.
Well, how are you doing now? You're obviously you're in mentally you're a lot better than what I've seen beforehand. So
yeah, well, it's just because I have to give credit where credit's due. My mom was a big part of that. She's open. Like me and my mom have always had a great relationship. We, even though I still live with my parents and stuff,
we all do. I hate to tell you that.
And to tell the truth, there's no shame in it.
Not in today's society.
Yeah, it's just her and I always had moments where we got to hang out and like have dinner or lunch together.
Now, do you still go on mom dates? Because I take my mom out to dates all the time.
Dude, well, as of late, we haven't been able to because we work so much. She works 5-6 days a week. I work 6 days a week. She usually comes home around 6 or 7. Usually, I'm coming home at 7:30, 8 o'clock. It's just that, if we do have time, we try to. We don't do it often now, but when we do, it's very special.
What kind of if you don't mind me asking, what kind of dates do you go on? Because
it's mainly just like lunch, sushi, or
sushi.
Yes,
okay.
Or because we both like sushi, so and then once in a while, if there's a movie specifically, we'll watch that.
See, because I take my mom because my mom loves Mexican food. We'll go out to
love Mexican food.
So we'll go out to restaurants, and obviously I pick up the tab, right? Yeah. I'm the man. That's how it is. I'm very old school in that. I don't know how you are with that.
Well,
your mom probably doesn't let you pay the bill. That's what it is.
Because she sees how hard I'm working, and plus because
I'm saying it's for the experience. You're not pay. You know what I mean? It's kind of like.
Here's the thing. I usually pay for myself anything. When I go out, I'll pay for myself, and sometimes if I have friends, I usually pick up the tab anyways. So.
That's me too, dude.
Yeah, well, it's just because
you feel better. I feel better.
Well, also
it's like okay, I don't owe anybody anything. It's like now everybody owes me, but they don't at the same time because I don't worry about that shit later on.
Yeah. It's just, but my mom's been there for me, and also the other people who were there for me that helped me in being in better places. The metal scene has been there for me.
Who specifically in the metal scene, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, when it comes to the metal scene, really the people who have been there for me as of late, well, like I think before, like I don't really know who was there for me in the beginning, but in the last 2 years, the people who have been there for me were Schwartwood, of course.
Okay, he's a great dude. Shout out to him.
Felipe,
good seeing you yesterday too, by the way.
Felipe, who plays in Inferatus, he also plays in Black Scorpio Underground. He also does Birth. He's been there for me, and actually he's my drummer in Embrace the Noose, which is my DSBM band.
Well, I want to talk about all your bands or whatever.
Yeah,
too.
And then of course Mikey Ortega, who he does a lot of noise bands. He does bands like Diclonius, God Rape Souls, and he does another one.
I feel like I know him too.
Yeah, he sometimes we partner up together a lot at shows, And then of course my bass player James, who he does drums and Lycanfrost with me. Robert, who we call him Filthy Rob. He's our bass player in Lycanfrost. When I was going through all my personal shit, he would message me, and even Adam, who was the second guitar player in Lycanfrost. He's pretty much at the moment, he's not in the band much anymore, because I'm not really going to get into that because it's kind of like
its own thing. Just leave it be.
It's his own thing. It's just that he's doing other stuff that makes him happy. So he was there for me at times. And then, of course, Lycanfrost, most people don't know this, we had a roadie, and he was there for me. And his name was Red. And so a lot of my bandmates were there for me. A lot of people in the handful of people in the metal scene were there for me. Even Jason Tyler's been there for me.
I've tried to be there for you when I can
and
too.
Of course,
so
of course you.
I don't want. Anything you need, you hit me up. Like,
yeah,
that's
and of course, people in the psychobilly scene and the punk scene have been there for me too, which is pretty damn cool.
That's fucking awesome that you transcend into all these different pockets of the community, as I call it.
Yeah, because I have a presence and I go out to shows and I'm friends with pretty much everybody.
That's fucking awesome, dude.
I'm friends.
You said something to me that kind of changed my whole perspective of how I view myself. When we went and saw, I think it was Dying Fetus at the Slide Bar.
Yeah, which had cattle decapitation.
That one. It was the free...
The matinee one.
Yes, the one that was like 12 o'clock, and I was sitting with my friends, and you came up to me and said, like, you're the reason why I play the drum machine, or play with a drum machine now. And I was like, I was honored to hear that because it made you a better player.
Yeah.
So I want to kind of sideshow it real quick. I want to go into another territory, if you don't mind.
Go right ahead.
And talk about how the drum machine came about, because
All right.
I think when I first saw you, I was like, man, like, you're great. But I think you need the drum machine because it will fill out the space.
All right,
of thing.
so this is how the drum machine stuff happened. All right, so
and what did you use? Because I want to know, like, specifically the first one that you tried out.
Well, actually, the first thing I ever used, when I was trying to book shows with Arrogant Behavior,
okay.
and they gave me some advice of you should try to do drum machine. And before that happened, I actually saw Dying Messiah for the first time.
Oh, shout out to Richard. He's in Goratorium now.
Also, Richard was also there for me, especially when I was starting out. And he was also there for me through my hard times as well. So
he's a great dude, man.
Yeah, he was there for me when I was starting out and when I was having a rough time. Especially like when we get more into like the different eras of Dead Habib, based off of what band I was in, side band I was in. Well, they're not side bands. Everything is just like, pretty much, Richard was doing a show with my buddies from Consuming Fire. And I was just blown away. And I'm like, dude, I'm a one-man band as well. I don't have drums, but one of my favorite songs is called Hatred for the Common Man. And what happened was then randomly... I was trying to book a show with Arrogant Behavior, and they told me, you're a good musician, it's just you need a drum machine. And I would recommend listening to bands like Dying Messiah and Through These Gates. And it was irony that I just saw Dying Messiah play a while back. And so I had a friend who gave me a cracked version of FL Studios. That's what I used first, and that's how I started doing backing tracks. And I did before the first handful of songs were from previous demos I have done. I had a couple other demos after Butchered and Suicidal But Alive. And this is where the Crystal Cemetery era of Dead Habib existed. So from August of 2009 to August of 2010, I was in Dead Habib, and I was also in this group called Crystal Cemetery. It was myself on vocals. We had 2 guitar players and a drummer. Mm-hmm. And we had 7 songs, and then we also had a Sepultura cover, and then all of a sudden, after we went to go see Bleeding Through,
where at?
Chain Reaction.
Oh, I was at that show too.
Yeah, it was. They had Terror, Suffocate, Division Divide, and that show was actually sold out. And I think The Ghost Inside was also on that. And my entire band was pretty much at that show. And then we started school, and then I showed up to band practice one day, and then they revealed that they were kicking me out. And during that period, I recorded this little demo called Demented Black and Green, which is kind of my little tribute to Peter Steele of Typo Negative. And it had me also record songs in a really funky way, like experimental type way. But there was also some songs that were very raw. And actually, two of the songs I actually played the first time you saw me. One was called Green Eyes. The other one was called Behind.
I remember that song.
Yeah, and the other song was called The Burning Desire of Her, which is the song I played for a long period of time in my set list, because I wrote that about the girl that was in my life at the time. After I got kicked out of that band, I wrote two more. I wrote 4 different demos after that. After that period.
Okay.
One was called Fresh Scars, which somehow people actually listened to that one and actually were really into. There was another demo where it was more of a compilation of all the demos so far, but just some of the songs that my favorites from the songs that I just decided to remaster and just re-record and just fix up.
Now you record all your own songs.
Yeah.
You mix them yourself.
Yeah.
And you master them yourself.
Yeah. I did everything
amazing,
myself.
Dude.
I did everything myself, DIY, you know. The mastering I didn't use because it sucked. But so they were all like rough demos pretty much. And so I did this. Yeah, I was teaching myself as time went on. And then I did another one called Darkened Heart and Condemned. And then I had this other one called Filling the Open Graves, which had a different name, but which was a song title from one of our songs. But the band got upset at me and threatened me, and I changed it just so they would leave me alone. And we were very heated at that time because we were all in a music class together, and they were constantly talking about the band loud enough where I could hear it, and it really bothered me.
Now, why? Maybe because at that time you didn't kind of put 2 and 2 together where it's like, oh, I get free promotion from you assholes fucking talking about me, so keep going kind of thing. Or was it like, oh man, they're talking about me, my confidence kind of thing is kind of... Yeah,
my confidence level got really low, and when you met me at that show that you saw me play, I was suffering from that. Because I didn't tell anybody for about a month. I didn't tell anybody that I got kicked out for about a month and a half. And my mom even was like, you usually went to band practice during this time. You haven't been there for like a month and a half. What happened? And I said,
did they give you a reason, or was it just like...
Yeah, they gave me a reason. They said it was an intervention and told me they were
intervention
afraid.
of what?
They thought I was going to kill myself, and they thought I had too much rage.
I think it's just your personality. I think people get so confused as your personality where they've been so...
they can't tell when's Dead Habib and when's Habib Behain.
No. They've been so filled with bullshit from like the media and everything else where they start to believe it. Like there was a time, I'm gonna admit this now. There was a time where I was like, man, this guy's gonna either kill me or kill myself. But then when I started to get to know you more and more, it's like, no, that's just who he is. You know what I mean? Like, that's how you're wired, right? So we need to learn from people like you, as to look, around us and within ourselves as how to.
Yeah, and what happened was that while they were writing lyrics to all the songs that they wrote, because they, after a month and a half, they actually told me they were not going to use my lyrics, which was great. Which I should feel good about.
Did you reuse them later?
No, they never did.
No, did you reuse them later?
Yes, I did. Okay. And that's why they got upset.
Fuck them. They're your lyrics, dude.
Yeah. And here's the thing, though. It was just that I always had, the thing was when I wrote the demo of Fresh Scars, that's when everybody, not just them took notice, but other people took notice. That's where like the demo phasing was starting to do something. Oh,
there you go.
and then of course, and then there was a compilation called "Receiving the Scythe," which only had one new song.
Compilation, was it with a bunch of the bands and it was you?
No, it was a bunch. The compilation was of all the previous demos and all the favorite songs from the demos that I had played, and I just re-recorded them, which had songs that were either stayed in the same format or tweaked, where I wrote new parts to them. So they were like brand new songs.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's what it was, and
because I got this thing where like maybe it's a good idea now, have all one man bands and make a compilation CD of just one song.
Yeah, even Shortwood has talked about that. So,
really? So that's actually a thing. Are you gonna actually kind of try and go for it?
Yeah. Well, if he like, I'm down to do it. You know, it's about getting all of them together.
Sounds like a really good idea, don't you think?
It's something that
maybe get Putrid Pile or something.
Yeah. Or something. Dude, if we got Putrid Pile, then dude,
Sean's a good dude, man.
Yeah, Sean's a cool dude.
He's a good dude.
And also,
dude.
like, I met Sean at one point too. You know,
where'd you meet him at?
I met him at the Elks Moose Lodge in Norwalk.
Wow.
When he was co-headlining.
Oh, he played that. He
co-headlined. I had to sit through 10 bands, and there was this one band who was obsessed with stating what state they're from, and their obsession was smoking weed. And
Was it Colorado?
Yes. Yes, they were obsessed with that. And I won't lie, it was funny the first few times, but then it got very annoying. And then
like last night when somebody was just yelling Ritual and my buddy was going zombie.
Yeah.
So every time he would yell Ritual, he'd be like zombie.
Yeah. Yeah, it was something like that. But no, like they that's what they said. And so it was just you know, that those demo, you know, I feel like where did I left off at when we were talking about the
we were talking about the compilation that you put out.
Yeah,
and the one specific song that you
and then I did, you know, now I remember where I left off.
I hope so.
It was the Filling the Open Graves thing.
Yes.
All right, so Filling the Open Graves came out, and of course I mentioned that there was a different name, but I changed it. And also at this time, I didn't play a whole lot of shows during that time because I switched schools and I was focused on getting in the cosmetology program. This is because of that situation that I was in. Like, the reason there was heat between me and my ex-band members at the time was because of the real reason was because, like, after all that, when I was going through that intervention, I didn't say anything, and I was very like numb, and I had a straight face. And I remember they all gave me these hugs, well, except for one, because it was a very painful thing for me because it was the first time I felt really rejected from something that meant the world to me. And I didn't say anything. As they talked about their plans with the band, I basically stayed quiet, and slowly but surely, like, you know, as time went on, I just, you know, going back to adversaries, I kind of looked at them as my adversaries. And I remember hearing, they did a live rehearsal, and hearing the vocals and hearing their version, their lyrics on top of the songs that we did for like a long period of time.
Now, did they give you credit for the songs that you wrote or no?
No. Well, they wrote all the music and I wrote all the lyrics.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but at the same time,
and the band you're talking about too, real quick, just so I don't forget, because I tend to forget things.
Yeah.
Is what was the band that you were talking about before?
Crystal Cemetery.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah.
Just so
yeah, this is from the Crystal Cemetery era.
Okay.
As I call it. They changed their name as well. So, and at the time, I was very mortified by what I was hearing vocally, because this is music that I was singing on top of for a long time. And to hear the lyrics, it was just very shocking to me. And it was horrible. I don't like saying this, but like the vocals sucked.
Dude, this is your platform, man. Now's the time.
I wrote this demo called Fresh Scars, and it was pretty much you could say, like, it was my moment as Dave Mustaine, even though I can't stand Dave Mustaine.
Really? I love Dave, dude.
Well, here's the thing about Dave. I felt bad.
Dave's not here, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel bad for him I understand what it's like to feel rejected.
Yeah, but that guy fucking.
But he did it to himself.
Well, that and he had so much fire in him, like what you do. But he did it, dude.
Yeah, he did
fucking
it. Yeah.
he is extremely successful.
Yeah, he's extremely successful. And the thing was,
fucking Dave Mustaine.
Yeah,
like
my only thing is this is where my feelings about what he did to Dissection comes in, and I'll just
Dissection.
Well, he got Dissection kicked off of a festival once.
I thought that was Rotting Christ.
He also, before Rotting Christ, he had Dissection kicked off a festival, right? Once too. He did that to them too. So, and for me, anybody who knows me knows I'm a big Dissection fan.
Well, they're one of the greatest metal bands, period. At least for me, I get it, dude.
A lot of my influences in my guitar playing comes from Dissection.
Storm of the Lights, Bane, and the Sarmerland are some of the greatest metal records.
And here's the thing: even though everybody hates Rhea and Chaos,
I liked it, dude.
Here's the thing:
it's different.
It's different. It's very mellow. That's what it is. It's very mellow. But that record really touches me, and that record is something when I play Rhea and Chaos, I feel that.
I just think it has the dumbest album cover I've seen.
Well, it's a very simplistic cover. That's why it's very simple.
Yeah, but the music's amazing.
Yeah,
dude.
The music is amazing. It's just that the reason people have a hard time is because it's just John. It doesn't have the actual lineup from the first two albums. But also people forget he was in prison for 10 years. So there's a long period of time there was no music. So people forget that things don't stay the same within those 10 years.
Well, things don't stay the same in a year, dude. Things change, man.
Yeah, so, and when I did all those demos, it was because I had all this rage from that situation. And I had all this belt, and that's where a lot of it came from. And also that's when, like, Dead Habib at that time was heavily influenced by, still had the Cannibal Corpse influence. There was still that Kitty influence. There was a Living Sacrifice influence. And just, there was just influences left and right. And then I started playing in the metal scene a little bit with Homeless One around May of 2012. That's when I started doing my first show. I did my very first show at the Doll Hut ever, where I got to be introduced to the metal scene for the first time, and I loved it. And actually, personally, like, during that time, I was during the Crystal Cemetery era of Dead Habib. There was also another era of Dead Habib that was kind of linked together with it called Extermination, which was which is like a brief history. It's very brief where two guys I met at Bionic.
Wow, Bionic Records in Cyprus.
Yeah, but it was when they moved to Buena Park already. Two of the band members. I met
with
these two
Mike
guys. Yes.
Working Mike DeSisto.
Yeah,
he's awesome.
Yes. I started talking to these two guys, and I was talking to them of who I was and what band I was in and what they changed their name to. And as soon as I said that band name, they told me we were in that band. Come to find out, they joined my old band here's the thing, when I continued playing, that band broke up, and my main thing was when they were playing or when they were still together was to try to play as much shows as I can so I could get a head start. And during that year, after the year that I was out of that band, I had played over 10, 15 shows and they only played one. So my biggest goal was I'm going to talk about my feelings of how I felt being kicked out, but I'm also going to play as much as I can where by the time they start playing, they can't catch up with me because I'm going to be all over the map. And I'm going to play every type of show that I can, like whether it's at D Piazzas, I played coffee shops, I played North Hollywood once, I even played Chain Reaction once, I played a backyard show.
Hoagies.
Yeah, well, Hoagies, I didn't play Hoagies. Well, Hoagies was before the era.
I got something to show you, by the way, after this broadcast airs. I got something to show you that I think will blow your mind.
Yeah.
I think you'll be like, wow, this is weird that you still have this. So.
Yeah. And what happened is that when I met these two guys, we tried to form a band called Extermination. But it didn't work out because as they wanted to be a thrash metal band. Well,
it's not the LA Extermination, is it?
No, it's a different one.
Different one.
Some people didn't realize. I think he didn't realize there was another one. But
there's probably 50 of them.
Yeah. Well, it's a common name that people could go to.
Right.
It sounds thrash enough. But I try to add my own touches to it as a vocalist because I wanted to stick out a bit. But I also didn't want us to be part of that. I already saw that retro thrash thing where everyone was starting to dress the part and just recycle the same riffs. And I was afraid we're going to turn into that. So I try to add influence like Divine Heresy and Lacuna Coil because that's what I was listening to at the time, vocally. And there's times where I try to write songs and he had an issue with it. And it never progressed. And then with Dead Habib, I started playing a little bit more shows at the Doll Hut. And then I went back to D Piazza's, which was pretty damn cool. And also, this is when D Piazza's Doll Hut started offering me. The first time they actually offered me, we had a band drop off. Would you mind filling in? I said, of course. And that's when that relationship between me and Homeless One started, actually. And then after like me just not being happy with that brief period of extermination, just because felt like I wasn't getting to do what I wanted to do. This is where the Dead Habib Skin Carver era started.
I want to talk about all your bands real quick, if you don't mind me asking.
Yeah.
So, what was the origin to Dead Habib? Like, why did you name it xDead Habibx? Okay. Was it because of the 2007 era where everything had a fucking X after, like, it was X something X? Because I don't know why that was a thing.
All right, so you want to know where the origins of the X's came from?
I think it's really dumb.
All right,
I don't know why it's a thing.
Okay,
but
all right. You want to know? All right, so
yes, I do.
All right, the way that the Dead Habib name came from was back when I was in high school. People used to call my vocal. I used to be called Death because of my vocals, and I did not realize that there was a band called Death. So back when I started writing lyrics and started my beginnings of writing lyrics, I actually wrote a song called Dead Habib.
And one of the greatest death metal bands ever is Death.
Yes. I actually wrote a song called Dead Habib. So that's where Dead Habib comes from. And then as for the X's, it's because...
Did you want to be something different?
Actually, you want to know where the X's came from? It was because I found the straight edge movement.
So it came from the 2000 era fucking metalcore scene when everything was named like there was a name. Isn't there a band called AFB or something where it was like X AFB X? And I'm just like, what's going on?
It's still AFB. It's just that the X's were meant to signify that they're a straight edge band.
Right, but I mean that was a thing, and I don't know why it was a thing.
I don't know why.
Did it come with it? And the thing is you use that.
Yeah,
like nobody would even guess that.
Yeah, well,
anymore.
It's because like people don't really know that side of me because I don't talk about it often. But for a lot of people who know me, know that that's been a part of my life.
So you are straight edge.
Yeah.
So me drinking a beer in front of you, hopefully it doesn't offend you, but
it doesn't.
You would never.
No.
You would never do it.
No.
I respect that.
Yeah, I don't drink. I don't smoke.
That's quite amazing considering the path you've been led on so far. Seriously, dude. Because most people would do alcohol, they would take drugs just to cope with all the bullying. Like that shit fucking that takes its toll on you. So I guess music is the reason why you don't do that. Yeah. Or is there a deeper...
There's a deeper reason.
Okay, what is a deeper reason?
It's just because I've had family members who are heavy smokers.
Of cigarettes.
Yeah, of cigarettes. And I also, when it comes to drinking, here's a little insight, and I know this might sound dumb, but
I don't think anything sounds dumb at this point.
pretty much, when I was in high school, I knew people who constantly smoked cigarettes and drank all the time, and then they would always make fun of me because I didn't. And I remember people in high school would sit in a circle behind like one of these coffee shops, and they all sit in a circle and they all take a shot of Absolute vodka until the bottle was finished. I had friends who, the reason I didn't hang out with them was because they went and partied all the time and they drank all the time. And one time at our grad night, a few of them showed up a bit wasted, where I could just tell, and I had to break up a fight or an argument between two of them. So after seeing that, it kept me. After seeing that,
grounded. I would say the word is grounded, because it's kind of amazing. You're blowing my mind. Remember how I said inspirational? You're blowing my mind right now, because the fact that you got made fun of, you are still here to this day. Right, that's amazing, because most people have suicidal thoughts when they get made fun of.
I still have. It's just that
I've been through it.
Yeah,
trust me, dude. I've been through, because I was made fun of.
It's daily for me.
Wow. There's days
when I
wish I could hang with you every day just to make you feel that the need of not wanting to be suicidal anymore. Yeah, because it's a great feeling when you're not, because there's so much.
Yeah, there's times
for growth.
Here's the thing. There's days where I feel great.
Okay.
But when there are days where I feel crummy as hell, it's a very. I'll just say this. It's a day where I just pretend. I run on autopilot mode, where I just try to get through the day.
So what do you do to cope with it?
What I do to cope with it? Obviously, work.
Right, but I'm saying after work.
After
music?
Work?
Is it writing?
I go to music. I if I have band practices.
Like, do you put on an album or vinyl, a CD, or something?
I put on CDs, but also, if you really want to know my secret, it's pretty funny actually. I listen to ASMR.
Okay, I have no idea what that is.
ASMR is those people who talk very softly. They're like,
that's where you get the soft voice from. Yeah. Okay, now it explains a lot real quick.
And it's meant to help you with stress relief, but also helps you put you to sleep. Because my mom nicknamed me Dracula, because I'm usually up all night.
And you sleep all day?
Yeah. And also, I do tend to go out and hang out with friends. And even though most of my friends are bartenders, they all like, dude, we have your soda for you.
You know what I've always wondered? Maybe this is fucked up. How does Dracula take a piss during
I wondered that too.
You did?
He can't see himself in the mirror.
Like, no, not even that. But you're sleeping in the coffin. Let's be real quick. So you're up all night drinking blood, right? How do you take a piss?
Yeah.
Seriously, how do you take a piss in the coffin?
Yeah, that's something.
And it's daytime, and you're like, fuck, if I leave the coffin, like, I'm dead.
Yeah.
Like, where do you go, dude?
Yeah, that's a mystery. That's something.
That's fucked up.
That would be a great scene in a movie. That would be a great
how does Dracula take a piss? You figure it out there, dude.
But no, like a lot of it's basically because of, like what I said, being straight edge that's what kept me grounded too. That was one of the things that kept me grounded.
That's quite amazing, dude. You're inspiring me right now, even if you don't know it. Yeah. I'm still gonna drink, but the thing is like the way that you tell your story, and like how it just blows my mind that you're like this, but you've gone through way more than what I have gone through, and you're still like this. Yeah, like how I'm just. What's your secret? Also,
some people even told me, like, dude,
you're just built this way, and I don't know.
Yeah, what it is. People tell me, like, you haven't changed a bit. Like, you still look the same.
Don't ever change, please.
Yeah, I don't want to, dude. I find it great that.
I mean, change, but don't change. You know what I mean? Like, grow, but don't change.
The only thing that's changed is the imagery on my shirts. That's it.
I was gonna say the imagery on his face there too has changed quite a bit.
Yeah.
So how do you get a mask to fit over it too?
Yeah. But like that's where you were asking about the origins of the X's. That's where it came from, and also a lot of hardcore bands and metalcore bands. When they wanted to signify they were a straight edge band, they put the X's there. You never say the X's, but you just say the name. It's just that the extras were always there.
I know, but I'm just saying like that.
It's stupid as hell, but the reason I've kept it is because it's kind of like
you're like the last of that generation, dude.
I've had that. Here's the thing. I've had that logo, or I've had that since 2007. I'm still doing it now. It's also just the fact that it's a part of who I am, and I'm okay with it. If people ask me about it, I tell it, but usually it's something I've kept to myself, and it's like it's something I'm not ashamed of. It's just that if people ask me about it, I'll tell them. There's times I've been asked about what's with the X's, and I would tell them, and they're like, "Oh,
just right, like right now."
Yeah,
like,
and also it was the other thing about Dead Habib is it's also become, it helped brand me in a really big way, which most people don't know. When I started Dead Habib when I was like 16 and stuff, and even all to this point, most people don't realize like Dead Habib is not just. It's become a brand. And actually, someone mentioned that to me a couple of weeks ago. I went to a show.
Are you going to start selling your masks to people? That's a good idea.
I would love to, but at the same time, anybody can get a Hannibal Lecter mask.
But there's the thing. Because your mask has changed throughout the course of years. Because I remember it was like a skull fleshy mask.
Oh, it was actually a cheap Freddy Krueger mask. That's what it originally was.
Okay, but I'm just saying, like... You've had all this shit. Why don't you just come up with your own, like, mask kind of thing and then try and sell it? Be your T-shirts on, like your images on the T-shirt.
Yeah,
like
well,
what I have on now, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying, like, that's a good image thing,
I would
that
love
could be your Eddie, Iron Maiden, right?
Yeah, actually, the plan I originally had was to do a Hannibal Lecter mask that had misanthropy scratched all over it. That was what I wanted to be the significant Dead Habib mask from here on end.
But you haven't done it yet.
I haven't done it. I at least have a Hannibal Lecter mask, so I'm going to hold on to that until I get that. And plus, I do have a friend who does make masks. It's just the big thing for me is I want to make sure that I don't have to cut this because this is precious to me.
That's his livelihood, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, also, ever since I grew the beard, most people don't realize this, I've been taken more seriously, and also... women are actually complimenting me more. So,
well, you already told me that you hang out with more chicks than dudes, so that doesn't mean shit.
Well,
right
here's
now.
the thing, though. Even though I hang out with more chicks than dudes, but actually I'm getting hit on by more women.
That's good.
Which I don't... Here's the thing. I'm friends with women, but I don't get hit on by women.
Well, I was always told that women... I mean, I should probably cut my, like, long hair because I've always been told that women... Like, they don't like dudes with long hair. Maybe I should cut my hair. You guys let me know, too.
Don't do it, man. It's you. Seriously, it's just...
Really? Like,
here's the thing, though. I've seen a half... It depends on it depends on the hair.
I think I'd look good in short hair. You know, I think I would.
You're not... No, you won't look bad in it. It's just that, for me, like, here's the thing. The right woman, if they notice you with your long hair...
They haven't yet. I'm almost 30 years old. They haven't noticed shit.
Well,
maybe I should try something new. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Try something new to,
Well, yeah. And here's the thing, though. It's like...
I can always go back to the long hair. It's just hair, dude.
Yeah. It's just that, but you took time and care for it, It's just, I'm trying to, like...
I appreciate it. I'm just saying maybe what my buddy's trying to tell me is right. Chicks dig dudes with short hair, and that's... Yeah,
well, and here's...
Apparently in beards, too. I should grow my beard out, too,
Yeah, it's just that,
You don't have a man bun, though. Maybe you should get a man bun.
Nah, I'd rather stick with the beard and slick back hair. No, but the thing is like, I started doing that look. That was just a part of my life. And that's just something that's like the X's things has always just been there for me. And, and then of course, like, and now we're going into Dead Habib Skin Carver era.
Yeah. Tell me about Skin Carver real quick and how the name came to be, why it came to be.
Okay. So
this is one of your first actual bands because you were doing Dead Habib single, solo or whatever for years and years.
For 4 years before.
And you got Skin Carver and then a couple other bands after. But I want to know why did you decide to start an actual band with other members besides your own? Like, was it hard for you to do that?
No, it was always here's what it was hard. Why it was hard. The reason it was hard was because I had these two bad experiences. I've had bad, as could tell from how I was trying to start bands in the beginning. I've had bad experiences where either people are trying to control me and try to turn me into something that I didn't want to be, and not let me have any sort of creative say, or I would do all this grunt work. I would do all this work, and then I would be, like I said, kicked out of the band. And I would be kicked out in a way where it was kind of traumatizing for me. So when Skin Carver, of course, for most people don't know, is a Danzig song. That's where the name comes from. And back then and to tell the truth, I love the name. It was just that, I regret never calling the one-man project Skin Carver, because
that would be a good name.
Yeah, it's just that the reason I'm not doing it now is because there actually is a band called Skin Carver from West Virginia, which has really killer music, by the way. They're kind of doing the same genre that I wanted to do, which was doom metal with some death metal elements. And so what it was I was really getting into doom metal. I was getting into bands like My Dying Bride, Woods of Ypres, and just all these other doom metal bands during the time I was in Extermination, because I wasn't happy doing the thrash stuff. For some reason, I got into the doom stuff, which I don't know how. I just fell in love with it for some reason, and it just clicked with me. And I decided to start a doom metal band called Skin Carver, because the Skin Carver was another reflection of me, where I got to be more emotional, and I got to focus more on singing. I got to write these really dark songs, but in a slow meaning. And the first song I ever really wrote for Skin Carver was called Tears of Loss, which is still to this day my favorite Skin Carver song. And I still play it from time to time. I wrote it for two reasons. I wrote it originally because I wrote it about the girl, and then I wrote it about my adopted father. He was like a big brother to me who passed away 4 days after my 22nd birthday. And this guy was in my life since I was 7 years old. He took me to baseball games. He got me my first comics. He actually took me to my first pro wrestling event, because we're big pro wrestling fans. He would order WrestleMania for my birthday. He also was there for my middle school graduation. He also was at my high school graduation. He also got me my very first electric guitar.
What was
it was
brand?
An Epiphone guitar.
Gotcha.
And he was pretty much like, even though I had my dad is...
You haven't talked about your dad a whole lot during this show too, so...
Yeah. My dad was older. My dad was, when I was a teenager, he was already in his 50s.
Wow.
Really up in age. My dad, I'm 28, he's 74 now. He's in his 70s.
That's fucking incredible, dude.
Yeah. So you could tell, there's a disconnect. The thing about this guy, his name is Mr. C. That's how I always know him. His real name is John Christensen. But
it sounds like he's gonna burst in my fucking war and go, yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, he was my
sounds like the Kool-Aid man, dude.
Yeah, he was he was pretty much, he watched me grow up pretty much. And the last time I saw him, it was Halloween of 2010, right after I got kicked out of the band, and from Crystal Cemetery, and got to talk to him for a bit. And then I visited him one other time, right when I was starting to go to Golden West, and then all of a sudden I heard the news, he passed away, and I felt very numb by the situation.
That's awful, dude. How old was he?
He was 45.
Holy crap.
He died of a heart attack.
Oh, man.
And I actually, and then when the year of him passing away was coming up, I actually found where he was buried, and I would visit it on the day that he passed away. So, but I haven't for a while. I did it for the first 2 years. My mom actually tells me this. He actually appears in my mom's dreams, not saying anything, but it's pretty much a sign that he's watching over us.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
And he every year, like for a while, I would post his picture. I would share his picture, like, thank you for being in my life and, you know, being like a second father to me, you know, because, you know, my mom and I have a wonderful relationship. Me and my dad it's just two completely different things. There's not much of a relationship. And
I'm sorry to hear this.
Yeah. And, you know, it's the first time I don't really talk about my dad much because it gets a lot of emotions out of me. But
you need to talk about it.
Yeah. And of course, like, it's funny. I think I'll be surprised if any of my family from Iran hears this. They're going to think this is what the hell's going on. But no, it's just it's the fact it's life, you know, it's life. And I have to own up to what's going on in my life. You know, I've never been ashamed of it, but I'm aware of it. So with Skin Carver, so after almost a year, we've been jamming a set list. And we did our very first show also back to where I started, D Piazzas. And we actually closed the show.
And what year was this?
July of 2013.
Okay.
July of 2013, we did we closed D Piazzas. We were actually headlining. So, and we had 22 people come out to see us. We had a wonderful response. People got to see me in a different light for the first time. And this is the first time I actually got to be on stage with a band that I actually started from the ground up. And it was a great feeling. But then that's when the dysfunction happened. I think what ended up happening was after that first show, our drummers thought he didn't have to try no more. He felt like we made it. He wanted, you know what he wanted to book? He wanted to book us at the Key Club for our next show.
Oh, when it was still around?
Yes, because he had connections to the Key Club. He wanted to book us in LA. But the thing was, I asked him, how many tickets do we have to sell? He's like, 40. And we just had
Fuck that,
And
dude.
I said, no.
And how much a piece? 25?
Yeah. I don't know, but I just was like, no. I'm like, who are we playing with? That's what I want to know. He's like, it's just local bands. I'm like, no. I just put and then also at this time, we didn't jam for about a month and a half, and him and the bass player reformed their old high school band called Pancake, which
I'm sure that'll go far.
Yeah. Well, I went to their first show, so and then and when I talked about the dysfunction, he wanted to change our sound. He wanted us to go away from playing doom metal. He wanted to bring in another guitar player to play leads because he felt I wasn't a strong enough lead player. But if you actually, there is some Skin Carver videos that I filmed from our rehearsals and from 2 of our shows. Anybody who watches it, you could take a chance to hear whether or not I'm a strong guitar player or not. 2 of the songs, one song's called Tears of Loss. The other one's called God's Protection of the Antichrist. Those 2 songs, you get to see what my guitar skills are like playing Doom. And there are some there is solos. And also we have a song called Suicide Binge. And that song reflected what my life was like, really reflected what my life was like for a year after being threatened by my ex-band members from Crystal Cemetery. So I got to really talk about that and just other shit. And
what are you up to now?
Well, after Skin Carver broke up, we broke up because originally we were supposed to.
And what year did you guys call it quits?
2014. So
okay,
we officially formed late 2012.
Okay.
So this is about May or June of 2012. June or July of 2012.
And you're still in Lycanfrost at this point too, correct?
Lycanfrost didn't happen at this point. Lycanfrost actually, I did get a lineup originally, within 3 days. Somehow, I did get a full lineup really quickly. But then after 3 practices, everybody that I got in that band disappeared. So I tried it once before, but it was a completely different sound. It was black metal, but it also had a groove to it. What it was Skin Carver was supposed to play a show. We had 2 shows under our belts, and we both closed both shows. That was the thing. Most people. Funny thing is, Skin Carver, even though we only played 2 shows, we closed both shows, and which is interesting. And also somehow, Skin Carver, like people started for us not like I went to a Neurosis show, and somehow somebody heard of Skin Carver, which was crazy. I was talking to somebody randomly, and I said, I'm in this doom metal band called Skin Carver. And like, oh, I've heard of you guys.
Does it amaze you when you hear
I was
that
like,
stuff?
holy shit.
Yeah.
It was like, it was funny. But then we were supposed to do this birthday show that a friend invited me to. And we didn't have, and here's the real reason why it broke up. So we got booked on this birthday show because the girl who invited us on the birthday show came to our last show. Really loves the band, really likes me, and she really.
Well, you did say you hang out with a bunch of chicks.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, this girl actually, her name is Betty, and really cool girl. She used to also cater and stuff. Some really killer vegan food, really bomb vegan food. She's really good, homemade, and she was doing this event for her birthday. So we were supposed to be on it, but I told her a month ahead of time, we're having issues. If Skin Carver drops, can I still play the show as xDead Habibx? And she says, of course. I don't want to drop out of the commitment just because that's what's great about xDead Habibx. If a band can't do it, xDead Habibx could always fill it. That's what's always great about it. And she loves both bands, by the way. She likes me in general because she thinks she doesn't give, and here's why she likes me. She was really big into my vocals, and come to find out, my friend told me, I don't give compliments often, but I fucking love your vocals. And these were like low guttural vocals and just high screams and everything. And so I always appreciated that. And so we were scheduled for the show, and the show's getting closer, and we have not jammed one bit. He doesn't have a car, and we're trying to figure out how we're going to do the logistics of it. Eventually, it's like a week or so from the show, and we haven't jammed once. And so I talked to the bass player, what are we going to do? And I said, and we talked about this scenario all the time because we knew something was up. So he said, get a fill-in drummer. After that message, I got a drummer in 20 minutes. And we started jamming. I talked about it, that, hey, we got a fill-in drummer. And he got upset by it. And the band pretty much ended right then and there. So when that happened, I put xDead Habibx on the bill. And things went off. And then after that, xDead Habibx just kind of went there. And also during this time, I was still using Fruity Loops as my drum tracks, by the way. Because I know I think that's where we kind of got lost a bit because we were talking about what we used first. So then I was using Fruity Loops during all this time. And so xDead Habibx was at this point starting to book more shows. Like November of 2013, xDead Habibx started getting booked heavily. Actually, right after that. And actually, I have to credit Jesse because there was a period where I played.
You're talking Jesse from Arrogant Behavior?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, because the thing was, before I did that show, I had a few shows where I started. The first 4 shows with Drum Machine was very rough for me. One of them was actually being the master show because
I remember you playing it. I wasn't specific there, but that was I think the first time where I was like, this is my bucket list to open for like, you know, a legendary band. I think that was the first for you to do.
Yeah, my biggest goal, my bucket list was to open for a big act, and I hit that.
A national act. That was master.
And I did. I did everything legitimately, sold the tickets legitimately, like I always have. Tried to be an honest guy. And it was a perfect show for me because I tried to get on shows before, and they always told me I don't feel like what I always liked about Homeless One, and why I always appreciated them so much to my heart, is because of they were always honest with me. They're like, we don't feel comfortable having you sell these many tickets for this show. They're too expensive, and the increase is too much. So they've always been good to me on that end. So I always appreciate that. That's why I have a very special place for them. And they were also booking me a lot as well. So that's where like I started playing a lot, and Dead Habib kept happening, and then when Skin Carver broke up, Dead Habib was the only thing I was doing, and I was like, I'm going to start from scratch again, and I'm okay with that. Like, I'm okay with starting from scratch and that's when Lycanfrost happened. I had the name for a long time, and originally it was going to be black metal with like an old school death metal feel of Master. It was going to be black metal mixed in. Picture Master with their sound, but with black metal elements to it.
Okay.
That's what I wanted to go for. And I wrote, and I even changed my style of writing where I just wrote from impulse and just stuck with it. And that's how I wrote all the lyrics. And so it had an organic feel to it. But then I kind of grew out of that idea, and then I wanted to do something different where I want this to, like, my biggest thing of when I do bands and I do music, especially when I do bands, is I want to do something that you're not seeing a lot of. Like, because there are tons of thrash metal bands. There are tons.
But are there tons of good ones? Or
well, it's just that there's a lot of them. You can't. How can I say? You can't.
You got to be different in those scenes, dude.
Yeah, you have to be different. Where, you want to like really stick out as much. And so when it came to black, what I wanted to do with Lycanfrost originally, when I was deciding to make this my main focus, was the original concept was I was going to do a band where I was going to do vocals and harsh vocals. I was going to have a drummer, and then I wanted to find either a female bassist or a female guitar player who did clean vocals.
Okay.
Where I get to do harsh vocals, and we had clean female vocals, and we would write lyrics together. That was one of the concepts. And then when that concept didn't work, I did. I also loved horror punk at the time. I was really getting back, and I was really going to horror punk shows, and part of me wanted to do a horror punk band. So I ended up. So I decided to combine the two, and and do like where I had a combination of horror punk elements and black metal elements, and some of the songs that in the beginning came off of that, and that's where a lot of people from the horror punk scene really liked me. And I was friends with a lot of these bands, and they all became friends with me, and they got to see me. They even saw me progress because they started watching me. They started noticing me. They started paying attention to me when I still had Skin Carver, and when Dead Habib was in the transition was getting into the beginning stages of, the program drums with Fruity Loops. So then after that, while I was trying to find members at the time, I ended up meeting the first real member of the band, which is the drummer Jim. And we started jamming in his garage. He actually saw me. We have a mutual friend named Mike. He was doing a birthday show, and he got his old band called the Badlanders, which is a punk band, to play. And he told him, yeah, I have my friend Habib. He's a one-man metal band. And when he heard that, he's like, oh, one-man metal band, I got to go check this out. So him and actually the bass player were at that show. The guy who's our bass player was at that show, and they watched and they fucking loved it, and I became friends with that clique. And then those guys became what it is, Lycanfrost, which I have that today.
There you go. So what are you doing nowadays? Real quick before we get out of here, because we're almost out of time.
Yeah.
And I want to thank you in advance, seriously, for coming on and telling your story.
I'm still doing Dead Habib. Right now, I have 2 albums out. Beautiful Noose of Barbed Wire, Envy Replacing the Serotonin, and the EP Newly Written Suicide Note. And I also have an acoustic EP called Resentment. I'm doing Lycanfrost, where it's been kind of a weird thing because, personal life, just lives in general, are kind of, it's just we're trying to find a way of keeping things together and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And then, of course, I have my depressive black metal band, which I started when I had downtime when Lycanfrost was kind of in hibernation.
What's it called?
The band's called Embrace the Noose.
There you go.
And Embrace the Noose is my DSBM band, depressive black metal band. I end up recording the entire album by myself within 2 weeks.
It's quite impressive, dude.
Yeah.
It's quite impressive.
Yeah, and because I was going through some emotions at the time. And then I didn't release it for a year, and then I decided to release it this year on Valentine's Day. And then...
How's the response been for it?
Well, what ended up happening was the following day, I get a message from a guy who promotes these type of bands, and he put it on his YouTube channel. And I got some cool comments. I got someone tell me that it reminds them of like early Dark Thrones, which I thought was pretty cool. And then on top of that, I also got and then that same guy ended up started a label. And
that's amazing.
And he put it on his web store. So there's a physical copy of, he has 20 physical copies of the Embrace the Noose album. It's a label called Share Your Pain Records. And also on top of that, just I'm also doing another band that I just started a while back called Frontline Howitzer with Schwartwood. I actually go under a different alias. I go under the name Wolfsbane, and we have an EP. And we're actually having our debut show at the Regal in Lakewood December 8th. But also, Dead Habib has a really big show October 20th. I'm playing the second annual Monster Mash, where I'm opening for Wednesday 13.
Wow. Congratulations on that,
yeah,
sir.
And currently I am selling tickets for that show. Pretty much it's every ticket that people buy, $5 of that ticket goes, $5 of each ticket goes to me. So pretty much it's the first show where I'm actually going to be making money, and
the start to what things should come your way, my friend, because you work so fucking hard to do it.
And I just look at everything I've gone through personally has been there. You know, I've stuck around. I've stuck around after going through all this bullshit, whether it's personal life. And you know what? And the fact that I'm so thankful that I've always stayed the course, and it's just because I've had a good work. A lot of it comes from work ethic, and just I have this dream and I'm chasing it, and I'm very proud of it, and it's made me to who I am today, and I'm very I don't know what I would be without it, you know.
Well, I'm just grateful that you're still here. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to tell your story, and thanks for informing all of us and the listeners, of what your story, is. And I really appreciate you coming on here. And thank you very much for having me. It means
a lot. It's if we ever do a part 2, that would be cool.
We will do a part 2. If you want to do a part 2, we will.
Story, but like the good chunk of the story is pretty much like, talk about the albums. I wish I wanted to get more in depth as to the albums. We got the origins pretty much clear.
We got the ballpark.
Yeah, the ballpark.
But we don't have the bases or the, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We don't have any of that stuff yet.
It's still a juicy interview.
Yeah, but we'll do a part 2, dude. Seriously, if you want to do a part 2, we'll make it happen. Yeah. We'll do it either next week or the week after, whatever your schedule. So.
Well, tell the truth, like, you know what? I'm very happy with this, and you know what? It's more up to you. I would love to do a part 2, but
Let's do a part 2, dude.
Dude.
Well, until next time, Dead Habib, thank you very much for coming on and fucking telling your story. I really appreciate everything that you do. Keep doing what you do, and part 2 will be coming your way soon, my friend. Yeah. So let's fucking do it, dude. Thanks very much.
Thanks for having me.